So now let's take a look at preliminary storm design. So in this scenario, we just want to develop a quick storm system that's going to have inlets, manholes, and pipes, basically for viewing purposes and cost estimation. Now, we don't want just a pretty picture. This should be utilizing engineering concepts and taking into account slopes and elevations, things like that. And it should be utilizing proper sizes so that we can do some good estimations. So again, at this point, we have to ask, how long would it take you or your staff to do this, and what skills would it take to accomplish this task? So again, we'll do a side-by-side comparison. And looking at Civil 3D on the left-hand side, it's about a 7-step process where InfraWorks looks like 3 steps. So Civil 3D is underway, and so typical workflow on this, you would start off by looking for all the low points, understanding spacing for your layout, and then you can go ahead and start creating your inlets and your pipes. Once those come in, you'll then go through an effort of kind of massaging the design, rotating your inlets, kind of lining them up with your roadway, cleaning up some of the labeling, things like that, so that it's readable and presentable. And then once you have that information, then you might go through and start changing pipe sizes. And then if you need to, as you can see right where we're at now, you might start putting in some laterals, go to the other side of the street, put in some more pipes, some more inlets. Again, you'll have to go through an effort of kind of massaging the graphics that have been placed. And then once you've done that, you can at that point go ahead and start calculating some quantities. Where in InfraWorks, it's actually pretty straightforward. Really all you have to do is select a road, and then you can right-click and choose the Add Pavement Drainage command, and it will actually go through, and again, based upon standard assumptions and rules, it will generate all of the pavement drainage for that road section. You can then launch the Quantities command, which will bring up a contextual panel, if you will, listing all of the content that it's developed for you. And then you can just click the Size Pavement Drainage, and it'll actually go through and size everything out to where it needs to be. So with Civil 3D, the end result is you get a nice storm system with educated guesses for the sizes at this point, because maybe we haven't gone through and run a full analysis on there. So we have some sizing that were kind of assumed. And then in InfraWorks, on the other hand, we have a 3D storm system with quantifiable properties and sizes based upon rules and equations that actually make sense. So let's take a look at that again. I recognize that went a little bit fast. So again, you just select your roadway, right-click, Add Pavement Drainage, and it will think and process for a moment. And what it's going to do is, if you take a look at the model now, you can see it actually generated the pipe network, all of your manholes, all of your catch basins, your inlets. You can then launch the Quantities command, which will bring up your palette, and then from there you can simply choose the Add Pavement Drainage, Size Pavement Drainage command, and it'll go back through the system, and then based upon assumed rainfall and hydrological data, and again a few assumptions, it'll go through and come up with the best guess, probably a little more accurate than a user guess of a real-time assumption of sizing that's going to be required for this roadway. So you can see it's processing right now, and looks like it's just about done. You can see we even got an L outlet right there, a little culvert came out the other side to release that. And again, you can look at it top down for manhole and catch basin locations, and you can go underneath to really see the final result of that network and what has been generated. So much, much quicker. And you can see it took about a minute to do that. So again, taking a lot of time off of the preliminary phase to get that initial network laid out. Okay. So again, once you get to that point, it's nice that it was able to generate that very quickly. The nice thing about that is, once you feel that you're ready to move to the next steps, that pipe network that was developed can be opened again in Civil 3D. and used as actual pipe network objects, plan and profile. And then you can go in and start refining that model information. You can start detailing out those slopes and the actual inlet structures and things like that. And that's what's really nice about that. And then, again, once you've got to that point, that refined data can be brought back into InfraWorks to refine your 3D model. So again, going forward for kind of documenting and visually discussing what your content is, you'll actually have an updated, accurate model. So let's take a look at the comparison real quick. So with Civil 3D alone, it's a very meticulous, very detailed process. And in InfraWorks, it was basically 3 steps. It took about a minute. In Civil 3D, you really need to have some solid engineering, hydrology, and Civil 3D skills to be able to accomplish that task. Where in InfraWorks, it was actually pretty simple. A couple quick clicks, not a lot of training, easy to do. With Civil 3D, it was very detailed, maybe a little more detailed than necessary for a prelim design, but again, if you decide to run forward with that, it does get you kind of halfway there, so that's kind of nice. Where with InfraWorks, it gives you just enough detail for the preliminary design that can then be brought into Civil 3D for refinement later. With Civil 3D, there were no assumptions. It was 100% designer input. And then with InfraWorks, there were some assumptions made for some quick but smart design choices to kind of get you rolling and get your design off the ground. Now, once we got to the detailed design, again, this is where you would send it over to Civil 3D. Civil 3D kind of takes over everything and generates your final construction docs, where InfraWorks, again, not leaving it left in the lurch at this point, can be updated and open that refined Civil 3D data to give you that nice in-context 3D model that visually represents what the design stage and intent is.